you going? Well, today we are in the kitchen. Yes, you've got my kitchen happening here. I've got my apron on and I'm going to cook you something that's a little bit fabulous for the festive season. That's right, I'm going to be making my marshmallow and fruit bubble bar, but I'm doing a twist on it and we'll talk about that later. So last week's show, we had 3 fabulous winners. We had Kim Pidcock, Mary Buckley and Kerry Thomas, and they've all got a fabulous copy of which book was it last week? I can't remember what we did last week. Anyone remember? Book 4? No? I can't remember. Oh my God, last week, what does that say? We're going into the silly season and this little brain of mine is just not doing so well. Anyway, today we got a recipe and I know which book this one's out of. It's out of book 4 and it's in the baking section on the first page and it's the marshmallow and fruit bubble bar. Oh, Bill's just telling me, of course it was the dips. Hello, I was using them all weekend. I had people for dinner Friday night, people for dinner Saturday night. The dips were a treat. They loved it. And on the Friday night, I think they liked the beetroot better. And on the Saturday, they liked the pumpkin. So I apologise for a brain fart. Oh, okay, didn't say that. All right. Okay, so now it's about making the marshmallow fruit bubble bar. Now, the ingredients you need are 125 grams of marshmallows. Now, because I want to make this resemble White Christmas, it's as close as I can get for a healthy version for you, and it is way better than the traditional, let me tell you. So you want 125 grams. Now, in the bag of marshmallows, there's always the pink and the white. And everyone in our house, whenever we've had them when the kids were younger, always wanted the pink. So this time they can get that because you're going to use the white ones for this recipe, okay? So divide it up, leave the pink alone, and put the white in. When you're maybe making this recipe normally, just without being White Christmassy looking, you can use either of the colours or mix together. But 125 grams white marshmallows, please. You want 1/4 cup of desiccated coconut, a tablespoon or 15 grams of the Floralite margarine, a cup of mixed dried fruit, and 4 cups of rice bubbles. Now, if you want to make this gluten-free, let me just tell you, you can buy gluten-free rice bubbles and there is a marshmallow. This one has, I've used the Pascal and it says that it's got gluten in it, but the So Soft brand is Jumbo Roasters in Woolies. They have them and they say they're gluten-free. So just to help some of you that maybe want to do that. So let's get started, alrighty? So the first thing we do is we put the marshmallows into the bowl, and you need to have a ceramic or glass bowl for this because I want it in the microwave. And then we're going to put in the margarine, put that over to the side, and we're going to, now this is the trick here, you don't want to do it too hot, otherwise you'll burn it. So you do 50% power. So when you go through, you just keep flicking and it'll go to 5 or 50, depending on what your microwave is, and you'll do it for 50 seconds. So it's 50 and 50. So here we go. I'll go down to 5 for 50 seconds. We're good to go. Now, if you've just joined me, hello, I'm Annette Sym and I'm making a recipe for you today that'll be perfect for over the Christmas period. It's my version of the guilt-free White Christmas and it's called the Marshmallow Fruit Bubble Bar in book 4. All right, so now while that's melting, can I just tell you that I've preempted a little bit here because remember I wanted to look a bit Christmassy, and have you noticed how in the dried fruit, you're lucky if you get a glacé cherry these days, especially if you buy home brand, you will not see any. So what I've done is I bought a bag of the glacé multi-cherries. So it's a lot multicoloured, so there's yellow, green and red in there. And what I did is I picked out the red and the green, and as you can see here, I've got little half slices of the green and the red. And so I want to make it look a little bit Christmassy. So if you can do that, that would be perfect. As I said, because we're looking for a Christmas look. All right, so now what I'm going to do is you take it out, you give it a mix. Actually, I might use this one. Now you can see I'm mixing in the flora and the marshmallows. Now I tend to put it back in because I want it to be just, see how it's still a bit thick, but I want it a little bit runnier than that. So I'm going to chuck it back in 50% for 30 seconds, okay? All right, so back to the 50%, 30 seconds. Now, what's the wattage on our microwave, Billy? Is it 1,000? Yeah, ours is 1,000, just to give you an idea, because if you've got a higher one or a lower one, you might have to adjust a little bit. But the key is to not put it any higher. That's what I do also with chocolate. If I'm doing chocolate in the microwave, which isn't very often, I always put it down to a lower power. All right, so glacé cherries, make it a little bit Christmassy. We've got the white marshmallows, and all we do now is put it together and in a slab tin. Now the slab tin is 18 by 28 centimetres, okay, so you just remember that. It's not a Lamington tin or tray. Okay, oh, so this is better now. So see how it's a little bit more runnier? That's perfect. Oh my gosh, it smells so good. All right, so now we put in the glacé cherries and the mixed fruit. So you can see the little bits of colour. Now, if you're watching the show and you go, I really do not like mixed fruit, because a lot of younger people don't particularly like it, I've got a variation for you, and I'll tell you about that in a minute. So we mix that in. Perfect. And this is when you throw in the rice bubbles. So you can see, hello, it's really easy to make. And to be honest with you, this is a great one. If the kids like to cook in your house, then this would be one of those ones that would be perfect. Let me just swap over for the wooden spoon, because I want it, you've got to really mix it in. You know, get it all coated with that marshmallow mix. And then just, as I said, take your time. You want to really mix in the gooey whiteness of that mixture in with the fruit and the rice bubbles. So take your time. Now, as I said, if you don't like dried fruit, or sometimes you just like a variation, this is what you do. Use the fruit medley. You can get it in the supermarkets, and it is based on chopped pear, apricots, sultanas, raisins. I think it's got a bit of apple in it as well. So it's a nice one. I like it just for a change. Okay, so remember, this is the recipe I'm making for you today is out of book 4. I got it right for this one. And it's the marshmallow fruit bubble bar, but if you could see my end, you can see lots of green and red in here. And so it's got that little Christmas look to it, which is what I wanted for, for the Christmas treats. All right. This is looking a bit fabulous, I might say. It's a bit sticky. I won't suck my fingers yet. Okay, so now spray. And when it's cooled, you'll be able to just tip it out and cut it, out of the tin, and you get 20 slices. Now, I did a thing on the traditional white Christmas, and I've got to tell you, my little heart was starting to beat too fast because of the saturated fat in it. Yes, it is not something a healthy person would put in their mouth, that's for sure. And I know it's only one time of the year maybe, and you think, well, whatever, but did you know that the traditional white Christmas for a 20th, which is what I'm doing here, same size, is 17.3 grams of fat for one piece and 232 calories. Holy camole. Now, when I was losing my weight, I was working on 30 grams of fat a day. So that's over, if I had 2 pieces, because let's be honest, how often, if you're going to have that, you're just going to have the one little piece. It's over the fat count for me, so I'd have nothing else to eat. Now, what I'm going to do here is my little sticky fingers. I'm going to have some hot water in a cup, because this really helps, because it's a little bit sticky, and you put your spoon in, your dessert spoon. See how it makes a really good amount. So they're not huge big pieces, but they're full. You've got a full amount. All right, so let's get the spoon, and this will help get it so you push it down. You want it firm. And the thing with this recipe is you need to keep it in the fridge, because if it gets soft, it will crumble, okay? So it's not something you'd put in the kids' little lunch box or anything like that, because by the time I got to there, it'd be crumbled up. So can I give you a tip? And I do this a lot, because we live in Queensland, so it's a bit hot. So what I suggest you do, say you've got this out for a function, which I'm sure you'll be making because you're just so impressed with me right now with this recipe, because hello, 1.1 gram of fat a serve and 75 calories compared to 17.3 and 232 calories. Yes, folks, this is your new white Christmas. Hello. Yes. I mean, who knew weight loss could be so deliciously healthy with doing it my way? Hello. Okay, so what you do, bash it all down or push it all down. That's looking fabulous. Now, what I would do when it's set, you cut it into 20 serves, and I would put it like one of those freezer bricks under the plate, and that way it'll keep it cool. Now, I do that as well for fruit platters, because, it can be hot, and there's nothing worse than hot fruit. Yuck. All right, so Billy, that's got to go in the fridge. There you go. That's the marshmallow fruit bubble. Well, let me wash my hands. Of course, I've made another one. Can you give me the one that's all set and fabulous? Look at the mess I make here. Hello. Woohoo! There it is. That is my version of White Christmas. I mean, who would guess that you go from 17.3 down to 1.1? So there you go. Isn't it gorgeous? I love it. And it's really something that my family really enjoys. And it's not as sweet or as fatty as the traditional one. And I think the ingredients, are easy. With the other one, I think you've got to have kofa in it. You've got to have lots of other things, a lot of sugar. Okay, so remember with this one you use the white marshmallows. Remember you can put the fruit medley in if you want, but if you would like to win book 4, plus because it is our second last show and I'm feeling a little bit fizzy, I'm going to also give you, whoever the 3 are that win, you're going to get a signed copy of book 4, but you're also going to get my ebook called Christmas Survival Guide, because who doesn't need that at this time of the year? So you're going to get 2 books from me for the next 2 weeks. So what do? You like, you share, and in the comments, hashtag Symply Too Good, hashtag Symply Too Good, and I'll hopefully pick you for the winner for next week. Now, next week's show is our last one for the year. Oh my God, where did the year go? I'm super excited about it. Just put it in your calendar though that I'll be back on the 6th of February. That'll be my first show back for 2020. But for now, I need you to help me about next week's recipe because I couldn't decide, okay? Now we did a thing on Facebook and asked people, but I want to ask you guys because you're my VIPs here. Hello. So in book 2, you have a Christmas section, okay, dedicated to Christmas, all right? You've got the puddings, you've got the little pies, you've got strudels, you've got cakes, you've got muffins, but I want to make the Christmas cake for you for next week because we've done this little treat. Let's do another one. Now, there's the Christmas cake, and that one uses pumpkin, okay, to moisten it, mashed cooked pumpkin, and then you've got this one on the next page, which is a tropical Christmas cake, and it uses crushed pineapple. I can't decide which one. You need to tell me, what do you want me to make? And we will pick the most popular choice for next week's show. I'll let you know before we start next Thursday which one you've picked. At the moment, Diane, what's the vote? Ooh, tropical's in the lead. Okay, well, I love them both. You need to decide. Thanks for joining me, and remember, go to the website simplytoogood.com.au for more recipes and tips, and I'll see you for our last show next week. Bye now.